How do you stop your spouse from handing your kids' savings to a stranger? The launch party is happening whether you support me or not, Danielle said, flipping through a stack of gold-embossed invitations at the dinner table. My brand, my vision. Don't you dare try to shrink me again. This wasn't the person I married. This was someone rebuilt by a new circle of self-declared visionaries, a group that met every week under a man named Preston, who charged each of them thousands to unlock their potential. When I asked what the party would cost, Danielle scoffed. That's not your concern anymore. I generate my own abundance. Except we shared every account and every bill, and years ago we'd promised to decide big purchases together. I reminded her of that. She laughed. Big purchases? This is an investment in myself. Stop being so controlling. There it was. The word Preston's group had been feeding her for months. Apparently, wanting a say in our own money made me a cage she needed to escape. That week, she rented a rooftop venue, hired a photographer, and ordered a mountain of branded merchandise no customer had asked for. Boxes of hoodies and tote bags stamped with her own logo, all on our shared card. But here's what she didn't know. While she rehearsed her big reveal in the mirror, I was finding things that turned my stomach. I printed every statement from the last 6 months and laid them across the kitchen floor. She had funneled just over $22,000 into Preston's mentorship tiers, mindset retreats, and founder packages. Worse, she had quietly opened a line of credit in both our names and drawn it to nothing. Then a message from an old coworker made everything snap into focus. He managed loans at our bank and, careful not to say too much, asked if I knew someone was trying to move money out of our children's education account. I went cold. I called the bank the second I hung up. Danielle had filed paperwork to liquidate the entire college fund, nearly $40,000, and wire it to a business account registered to Preston. The only reason it hadn't cleared was that the account required both signatures, and mine wasn't on the request. She had tried to hand a stranger our kids' future just to look successful for one weekend. So while she practiced her speech, I got to work. I moved our children's fund into an account only I could touch, exactly as our custodial agreement allowed. I froze the joint line of credit. I saved every invoice, every text where Preston promised guaranteed 6-figure launches, every transfer she thought was invisible. Then I made 2 calls, one to a lawyer, one to a reporter who had been quietly collecting stories about Preston for a month. The night of the launch, the rooftop glowed. 50 guests in white, the same friends who had called me controlling, sipped champagne under string lights, while Danielle stood beaming beside a banner with her own face on it. She tapped a glass. 2 years ago, I let a small man make me feel small, she announced, her eyes flicking to me in the crowd. Tonight, I take my life back. The applause was thunderous. Then the guest of honor never arrived. Preston's phone went straight to a full mailbox. One guest checked her feed and gasped, then another, then the whole rooftop turned into a sea of glowing screens. The headline had gone live 20 minutes earlier. The mentor who had taken hundreds of thousands from dozens of families had been arrested that afternoon. Danielle's face drained as the merchandise vendor pushed through the crowd, waving a bounced check. Your card was declined, he said, loud enough for the string lights to hear it. Danielle spun toward me. What did you do to my accounts? Nothing, I said calmly. I only protected the ones with our children's names on them. You handled the rest yourself. She stared at the statements I slid across the bar, then at the empty space where her mentor should have stood. 2 months later, the line of credit was hers alone to repay. The venue was suing her for the unpaid balance, and the friends who taught her to generate abundance stopped answering the group chat. The college fund never lost a single dollar. Now she picks up weekend shifts to chip away at the debt from a party nobody remembers, while our kids still have every cent that was always theirs.